Welcome to the Slavic bestiary. Here I will tell you about the worst beasts and demons that have been living on the Slavic lands for centuries. Stukacz is a mischievous household ghost who frightened people with various unexpected noises. He did his mischief most often at night, loud rustling and stomping in the attic, scratching the floorboards from underneath, scraping or bumping dishes in the cupboard. This was his doing. Although more than one person has been subjected to sleepless nights, heart palpitations and nervous breakdowns because of him, in fact, few can boast of having seen the tapping man with their own eyes. Those who have met him say he has legs as thin as sticks, a large shaggy head, and embedded in it were huge bulging eyes glowing with red light. Maybe it's true, or maybe it's an invention and fantasy, while the big eyes were just the fear that the tapper was able to inspire in people. Cycocha, more widely known as the Iron Baba, was a real terror of urchins going to thieve in other people's gardens and orchards. In front of the thief, stuffing himself with plums or cranberries, appeared suddenly a shaggy, completely naked old woman with a crazy look. She stunned the terrified wretch with one stroke of her huge steel breasts. If the frozen kid tried to escape, she would grab him on a rusty hook suspended from a chain and pull him towards her. She would put into a giant iron mortar and pound it into a mush, which she consumed with relish. Not surprisingly, parents warned their offspring not to reach for others, scaring them with the Iron Baba. Hanging man, the shameful and ungodly death of suicide by hanging, has always pushed the human soul into the arms of the devil. Accompanied by howling wind and ghastly laughter, the spirit departed to eternal damnation, the body swinging in the air waiting for burial. With this, however, the matter was not simple. A suicide brought misfortune on the entire village, so his corpse aroused extreme disgust. Anyone who touched him was considered unclean and contemptible, so it was usually handled by the visitors. Waiting for the right man could take weeks. When one was found, the body of the suicide had to be dragged out of the cottage, dragging it under the threshold, and then buried outside the village, for example, at the crossroads. The ideal solution was also to toss the corpse to the residents of a neighboring village. Not surprisingly, the deceased treated in this way often could not find peace and returned to this world in the form of a demon, a hanged man. He could be recognized by a noose around his neck, red upturned eyes, and a long tongue. The demon, after leaving the shallow grave or breaking off from the rope, squatted most often on branches or beams under the roof. Hidden in the darkness, they waited for helpless passers-by to pounce on them and avenge their unworthy burial. While the body of the hanged man was treated with contempt, the rope on which he hung himself was a highly desirable and versatile talisman. Therefore, it was divided into many small fragments. To the one who carried a piece of the cord with him, it brought good luck and health. The innkeepers used to throw it into booze, so that whoever drank it would always return for a second round, while maidens kept it in a pouch around their necks in the hope that one of the cavaliers the rope would capture and not let go anymore. The Tresurer was an underground being who guarded treasures hidden in caves and chasms. He also often resided in mines. People forging underground passages in search of metal ores or coal seams saw him occasionally, and often heard only his loud, ghostly laughter. The appearance of the Treasurer, a short, gray-haired grandfather with a long beard and eyes shining like emeralds, heralded misfortune. Warned by the light of his lantern, the miners would flee, and a moment later there would be a bump, gas explosion, or other disaster. Over time, as mining took on industrial proportions, the Treasurer, willingly or unwillingly, became closer to the people and probably liked them, at least the hard-working and collegial ones. They could always count on the favor and help of the spirit of the mine. He did them various favors, ranging from small instructions to make work easier to a non-refundable allowance of a chest of gold. On the other hand, lazy, unreliable, and sloppy employees were punished and threatened by the Treasurer. This is because he knew that the behavior of such black sheep could bring danger to the entire working underground shift. He was therefore harsh and ruthless in administering punishments. But people understood this and valued his sense of justice so much that when the Treasurer was missing, the more clever miners would disguise themselves as him to scare the exceptionally resistant to good advice coup workers. Dziwsmits was an aquatic creature, highly prized by Baltic fishermen. Setting out before dawn to fish, they called him with a specially intoned chant. Then, when he approached the side, they would make appropriate offerings to him of food. In return, the creature guarded the boat all day against capsizing, firmly held the dropped anchor, and chased the fattest codfish into the net.